Hello to all of my gay fans, which means all of you. If you aren't gay, sorry, you're gay for this video. And welcome back to another video. Today, we are going to be doing a follow-up to a video I did a little while ago, which is where I ranked the lip-sync performances from RuPaul's Drag Race US. And the way that I did it was, I ranked the individual performances of the contestants. So by that I mean, when I say I'm talking about my favorite individual performances in Drag Race history. So when I bring up This Will Be, the lip sync between the princess and Dita Ritz, I'm fully just talking about Dita Ritz. I'm saying Dita Ritz's performance to This Will Be, not to the princesses, even though the princess didn't do that bad. I'm only talking about Dita. And so we're going to be going through all of the international seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm going to be ranking my top 15 individual lip sync performances. All of the lip syncs that happened in these seasons were on the table to be chosen for this video. I was like, we'll just run through all of them. And because there were, I believe, 32 seasons that I ended up going through for this video, I decided that I was only going to talk about one lip sync per season, because I didn't want to find 2 lip syncs per season that have 60, which then I needed to parse down to 15. That didn't make any sense to me. So the way that this is going to be structured is, I have my top 15 still, as I did in the last video. However, I do have some honorable mentions. Every single season that is not present in the top 15 gets an honorable mention here. So there's, I think, 17 honorable mentions, and then 15 actual ranked lip syncs. So I'm just going to go through, talk about them, tell you what I like about them, just have a fun little gay old time. Before we go any further though, please like, comment, and subscribe on this video if you enjoy yourself. It is Pride Month. I'm giving y'all queer content. Give me queer subscribers, you know? Why not? So the way that I'm going to be going through this for the honorable mentions is that they're in no particular order. They're truly solely in order based on the season name in the country. So we're going to be starting with Belgique, then Canada, and then all the way through down to UK. First up, we have Drag Quen's performance to the Lip Sync Demons from the finale of Belgique Season 1. This was Drag Quen's only lip sync of the season because she was never in the bottom 2. I mean, literally one of the best track records of all time. I think like 7 episodes, like 3 wins, 2 highs, and like a safe, or 2 safes, I guess. Like it is a stellar track record. And Drag Queen did a really good job in this finale lip sync. This finale lip sync, it has there are, you know, some like singing parts, and there's also like pure rap parts in it. So it's one of those songs where you kind of have to go like you kind of go back and forth between the different like styles and the different like flows of it. And Drag Queen did a really solid performance to it. I sadly think this is one of the seasons overall where I'm like, the lip syncs as a whole like aren't my favorite, sadly. But this is really like a highlight from the season because Drag Queen does so good throughout the season, kills this finale, and then you've seen Athena Sordilicus, who she's up against in this lip sync, in the episode before lip sync to Le Banana Split, and that was almost a lip sync I put on here because Athena does a great job in that lip sync too. And so it's kind of like, oh, how is Quinn gonna do against her? Because we don't know. And then she goes and slays it, and it's really nice, it's really good. So that is my representative for Belgique Season 1. From Belgique Season 2, we have Lulu Velvet's performance to Monsieur Madame, and this is heart-wrenchingly amazing and beautiful. I had not seen Belgique Season 2, and I've only watched it about like half of it as of this recording of this video. But I will be making a video on that soon, actually, because I kind of like it a good amount. It's like there are some weird riggery and like, you know, odd situations that happen, but like, I kind of love all the contestants. They're really fun. They're really fun in my opinion. And this is a lip sync that happens at the final 4 between Lulu Velvet and Alvida. And they both win this lip sync and make it onto the finale. But this song, if you've not heard this song, if you've not seen this season, listen to Monsieur Madame. If you were going to take literally any piece of advice from this video as a whole, I know that's a big thing to say on number 2 out of 32, but Monsieur Madame is a fucking amazing song that you should listen to. It is I actually started tearing up the first time I watched it. I was in awe of it. I ended up not putting it higher because there are a lot of lip syncs in this uh, video that I chose that very much fall into the like heart-wrenching ballad category. And even though out of like all of the like, heart-wrenching melodic songs that are in this video, while this one might be my favorite of them, I do think the performance is worse than of some of the others that we're gonna get to later on the line. So that's why it's not in the top 15. But I mean, again, listen to this song. Watch Lulu do this. It is beautiful. It is so like the song has been like on repeat in my head since I've watched it, and that's hard for me because the song's in French, so I don't know the words. It's just the vibe going. The honorable mention from Canada Season 3 is Kimmy Couture's performance to Run Away With Me. This one was a hard one to put in the honorable mentions, but I did decide to do it because and honestly, that's not Kimmy's fault. I just think Run Away With Me is a hard song to lip sync to. She did a really good job with it. But for some other songs, like let me just think of like a song. From the same season, from Canada Season 3, High School Confidential. That is a song that is very pointed in its tone and its words, and that is a song where I feel like there is a very optimal, easily seen way to lip sync that song. You know what I mean? Like, it is so clear, and there's so many opportunities to do fun little moments and stuff that, like, it is a really easy song to lip sync to. Run Away With Me, like, I have not a clue how I would lip sync to it. And that's why Kimmy Couture's performance is so impressive with this, in a way, also, because she does a really good job with it. But I feel like there could be better performances to this song, but I don't even know what those performances would be because it's just such a hard song to lip sync to. So I feel like that's why it's not higher for me, is that, like, I feel like there are ways you can do it better, but I also really can't think of super good ways to do it better. It's just a hard song to do, so even if you do your best at it, I feel like the presentation of it is just automatically going to be worse than a song that's like easier to lip sync to. You know what I mean? But Kimmy's great. I'm very happy she did this. Yeah, again, she did a great job here. Next is Rita Menu's performance to I Need a Hero, the Adam Lambert cover from Drag Race Down Under Season 3. This lip sync is really actually solid, I would say. Rita really fits like the vibe and like the grunginess, because like Adam Lambert really kind of brings it into this like kind of like more rocky, pop rocky kind of vibe than the original song is. And it really like I just see the face. The face is serving. It really is. I do think the I do think the original version of I Need a Hero is a easier song to lip sync to. Which is why I think this is again like for a similar situation as to Run Away With Me. I think this is kind of in the honorable mentions because I feel like your best performance at this version of I Need a Hero is automatically going to be worse than the best performance of some of the other songs like in our top 15. So while Rita I feel like does this pretty damn well and like pretty perfectly, again it's just like the quality ceiling that you can reach is lower than some of the other songs I feel in my head. Next up from Drag Race España Season 2, we have Marina's performance to Kayla Lore. And I have been obsessed with this lip sync since this season happened. Now, I haven't actually really watched all of España Season 2. I've seen most of it, but there are some parts of it that I do need to rewatch. And I will probably rewatch the whole season for when I eventually make a video on it. But I did watch all of the lip syncs when the season was happening. And when we got to this lip sync between Marina and Drag Sethless, I was just like, my eyes were glued to Marina. There's something so sickening about this performance to me. It's just so on point. It really is. Like, and she has fun with it. And she's like energy from start to finish. I mean, Marina is moving every which way and doing all these little, moves from the beginning to the end. It is a tight lip sync, in my opinion. I I'm a kind of obsessed with it. I really am. I ended up not putting in the top 15 because I feel like there are the lip syncs that are cleaner. I did just use the word tight to describe her performance, which is probably not the right word to use. Jam-packed is probably the better word to use, but I feel like, this lip sync could have been done a good amount cleaner than it was done, in terms of the quality of the actual, like, physical, like, quality of the moves. But regardless, I'm obsessed with this lip sync, and this lip sync got me obsessed to the song, because there was a period of time after this lip sync where I'm just like listening to the song on repeat. And now I want to go listen to it now. But yeah, I love this lip sync so much. From Drag Race France Season 1, we have Lolita Banana's performance to Core. And this is heart-wrenching. Out of every lip sync on Drag Race, this is the most like, oh my god. It is like beautiful and sad and meaningful. And I kind of feel bad putting the honorable mentions. But when comparing it to the other songs, and especially to the other ballads that I had chosen as my favorites, I just ended up liking a few of them more, and it felt like the right choice. But this is one of the ones that is like definitely like ranging in that like 16th to 20th place range, where I'm like, I could have made the list. I just there were other ones I wanted to talk about and praise more. But this is beautiful. Again, watch this if you have not watched it before, between Lolita Banana and La Big Bertha. It is a stellarly touching performance. Performing the Bonnie Tyler version of I Need a Hero, I put Tessa Testicle from Drag Race Germany Season 1. And this is one of the two main seasons in this video where I was racking my brain on which performance do I choose, because there are multiple performances I wanted to choose. And it kind of sucks that I ended up putting it in the honorable mentions, but that's kind of the way that the cookies crumbled here. But I deeply considered, like, do I choose Tessa Testicles and Victoria Shakespeare's lip syncs to Liebenwehr from the first episode? Do I choose Pandora Knox's performance to Asenlos Dirk de Nacht? Do I choose literally almost anybody in the finale lip sync to Rise Like a Phoenix? It was so hard to choose. I ended up choosing Tessa's performance here by I Need a Hero because it is so quality and also so stupid. And that's what I love. I also am just kind of obsessed with Tessa Testicle. I'm so sorry. Tessa Testicle. Truly an icon to me. I love her so much. And this performance has some really funny, good moments. Towards the end of the song, where Tessa's just walking and talking at the only Naomi who she's performing against. It's so dumb. And she pulls all these great tricks as well. And it really is just so stupid and fun. I think this season, Germany Season 1, if I'm like looking at all of the seasons and like what is the lip sync quality, like what is my favorite seasons ranked by the lip syncs, Germany Season 1 is fully like probably like 5th place or something. It is up there. It is so good. I kind of feel bad that I put this as an honorable mention, but I think, as I kind of like said earlier, all of the lip syncs that are in the top 15 had more like intention and follow through. Tessa said she wasn't prepared during the lip sync when she was doing it. She stated that. So, that's not like me just saying shit to say shit. So I do think that is the main reason, and it pains me to do that, but this is my favorite, and sadly it is an honorable mention. Alright, from Holland Season 1, we have Jamie JK's performance 2, 9 to 5. This is just a very solid performance to Dolly Parton. It's really all it is. It is just a solid, good performance. Jamie JK is a great performer. And she really, she sells the kind of, country fantasy here. And yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. I just don't like it as much as the ones in the top 15, but I still really love it. I still think it really fits the vibe, and she does a really good job with it. It's just not as good as the ones that are actually ranked. And from Holland Season 2, we have Vanessa Van Cartier's performance to This Is My Life, the finale lip sync, against My Little Pony. The, boob reveal, where she, takes off the coverings over her breasts, and they're covered with these the pasties and the gold, and the glitter falls out. It's so good. That distinct moment like, is a top 15 moment out of, like, all of these lip syncs for sure. Again, it's kind of in a similar situation to the other ballads I've talked about so far, where when looking at all those combined, I was like, okay, for one reason or another, the other ballads that make it into the top have something that this lip sync doesn't for me. So it's gonna have to be an honorable mention. But again, that singular moment is like a top 15 moment. She really fucking killed that. Next from Drag Race Italy Season 1 is Le Riche's performance to Fiesta. Now, I have not seen Drag Race Italy Season 1 at all. I literally went and watched the lip syncs the other day. And that's all I've seen of this season. But I decided on this performance. It really is just, again, like a solid performance. Like, it is an active song. It is a song you're gonna move and groove. And Lariche really fits the vibe of it the whole time and does a really good job with it. Again, it kind of fits into the category of ones where I feel like the quality ceiling, which is what I'm gonna keep calling it, is just lower than some of the other ones we're going to talk about later. And also, I feel like this is a song that this is going to be the first and one of the only times I'm probably going to say this in this video. I feel like this is a song where you absolutely can do like splits and kicks and dips and stuff to it if you wanted to, but she didn't do any of it. And that's not a knock against her that she didn't do it. It's just a kind of a bonus that if you can do it, I would like to see it, and if it does fit the vibe of the song, I would also like to see it, but she didn't do it. But again, I still love this lip sync. She really sells the fucking shit out of it. From Italy Season 2, we have Pantera Virus's performance to Down, Down, Down. This lip sync is the one against Obama, where they both climb up onto the judges' table, and it is so sexy and so cool. It is so... Oh my god, Pantera Virus just looks so sexy up on that table, I gotta say. And also, like, Pantera, I just love her vibe. Like, her style, I've talked about this many times before. Her style fits very much into my camp of, like, oh, I love that. And so, her doing this and just being up on that table, it was so, 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 so good. It is so good. But besides the table part, there's like that's kind of like the highlight, and it is one of the biggest highlights in this video, period, for me. But besides that section of the lip sync, it's like pretty fine, you know. It's good, absolutely, but like it's not one of those lip syncs I'm engaged fully from start to finish. It's one where I am like locked in for a solid 45 seconds. And I feel like, you know, for me at least, the ones where I'm engaged slightly less the whole time are going to be better than the ones where I'm just super engaged for like half of it. You know what I mean? So that's why it's not in the top. And last of our Italy season, sadly none of them made the top 15, but that's the way that they ended up doing it. We have Lena Galor's performance to Furore, which I could be saying slightly wrong. She does a stellar job. This is the final lip sync of the season between her and Melissa Bianchini. And she does baton twirling during it. And it is so wonderful. And she's in this outfit, which I'm going to put on screen now, which is, I do believe I mentioned adoring at some point in the past during my Italian season 3 video. But this lip sync and this outfit, it's like sexy and stunning and showgirl in a fun subversive way, and it's just so amazing. I love it. This is one of those where, again, I feel like this one is not in the top 15 basically for the same exact reasons that Drag Race Italy season 1's lip sync wasn't in the top 3, where I feel like you could do more with it, but the outfit she had, even though I fucking adore it, it is restrictive. So any acrobatics were not going to be in play, which is entirely fair. But I feel like the potential and the use of moving around a bit more, if she was able to, would have helped the lip sync, or would help a lip sync to the song in general. So that's why it's not on the top. Next up, we have Vanity Vane's performance to Kisses of Fire from Drag Race Sweden Season 1. And this is just a solid ABBA lip sync. It's really here for the same reasons why Janie JK's performance is here, and the honorable mentions, and why it's here in the first place. It's just a really solid, good performance. of kind of an iconic performer, but it doesn't reach the highest of heights that the ones in the top 15 reach. But again, this is a really good lip sync. And if you haven't seen Drag Race Sweden, which I mean, it's definitely one of the seasons that people I feel like have seen the least, watch this lip sync, you know? Next in the honorable mentions, we have Natalia Pliakam's lip sync to Doom Doom from Drag Race Thailand Season 1. This lip sync is iconic. This is another one of those ones where I'm like, it definitely is somewhere in that like 16th through 20th range for me. Natalia brings out all of these different props. She has this boa, and there's a flute portion of the song where she pretends she's like playing the flute with this boa, and all these other moments where she's making dosas. I'm definitely saying that slightly wrong. Like at the fucking main stage, just like in the dead center front. It's so playful and stupid and fun. And it's like I just like was in like awe watching it again because I remembered when I was making this video, I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna choose that Natalia performance that she does, but I couldn't remember exactly what happened in the performance. I just remembered it being iconic, and then I watched it again. I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is the it. This is the everything. Watch this if you haven't watched it. All right, now we're into our UK seasons. From UK season 1, for honorable mentions, you have Cheryl Hole's performance to Call My Name by Cheryl Cole. Um, this lip sync is so good. It really is. She does all these different tricks. And I mean, this is kind of Cheryl's element. It is literally a performance to a Cheryl song. Like, it is it's like seeing an athlete in their element. You're seeing Cheryl in her element. It is so good. It simply doesn't make the top 15 for me because there are other ones that I just enjoy watching more. And I do feel like, you know, in terms of like giving the vibe with the mouth thing and like the actual like lip syncing of the words, I do feel like it is slightly lacking. I do feel like she absolutely could have done a better job at that. And I guess real quick before I go any further, because I'm finding myself slightly falling into those same traps again, is that when I'm providing like critique on why these are not like my favorites, I'm not saying these lip syncs are bad, and I'm desperately trying not to do that. I just, the first time I did this video, I ended up being a bit too harsh with my phrasing. And the whole video is kind of like, and even though I was actively wanting to praise all these lip syncs, it kind of made it sound like I was like, just like complaining about all of them except for my favorite, which is not the point of this video. It's just, I gotta say why something's an honorable mention and why something's not, and why something is worse or better than the thing that comes before or after it. So I have to explain myself and say a negative for the video to work. But again, before we continue on, I genuinely very much enjoy every single lip sync here. And if something I say sounds too harsh, I am sorry, that is not my intention. From UK Season 4, we have Hey Baby's performance to No Way. And this is just a tight lip sync from front to back. If any lip sync is number 16, this is number 16. This is a so pointed and good performance here from Baby, and really she shits all over that stage. It really does, I gotta say it. I feel like this is another one where I'm like, while the actual moves were so good and everything was amazing, Dakota, who's like right beside her, literally lip syncing beside her, I feel like she fits the vibe with the mouth more than Baby does. So while I do feel like this is the best performance from the season, Hey Baby is just not higher due to those reasons. And our last honorable mention is Dedelicious' Dedelicious's performance to I Dreamed a Dream. And this, again, it fits into the same situation that all the other ballads do, where I just kind of like the handful that I put in the top here more than this one. But again, Dee Dee's like the best lip syncer of the season, IMO. And she really, provides the Susan Boyle dramatics with this lip sync. Okay, here we are. It is the actual top 15 time. The way that I'm going to be going through and like determining the rankings of these is the way that I did in the first video, and the way that I truly do feel about like what makes a good lip sync for me personally is I want to believe the words coming out of your mouth more than really anything. That's what I care about the most. Obviously, like, I would like to see you do a split if you can do a split, but like, if you're just moving your mouth dead behind the eyes while doing it, then kind of what's the point to me, you know? So that's really kind of what I'm looking for is like what is the vibe? Are they fitting the vibe with their mouth and the moves? But the mouth is more important than the moves. And also, I do feel like there are some songs that are just and also I spent like too long mulling over this and I finished and was like, okay, these are my choices. And I just was like, I'm not going to sit on this anymore. I'm just gonna keep this as it and lock it in, you know? Like, I could have mulled over this for hours, but I didn't. I mulled over for a little bit and then just put them in the order and called it a day. Because who knows, this video might not have come out if I just continued to fiddle with it. But also know with that there are placements here, most placements, I would say, in this ranking could change at almost any time. I'm just going to run through these the same as I've been running through the honorable mentions, but there's going to be a little bit more suspense going into each one. So first off, we have a lip sync from Drag Race Down Under Season 2, which I think is decently underrated as a lip sync overall. And I think this lip syncer is kind of underrated in the grand scheme of things when it comes to Drag Race. But I do think this lip sync needs to be praised here. And that is Beverly Kills' lip sync to Starstruck. This lip sync is just so tight and good. She does this lip sync against Pomara Fifth in the third episode. And I think Beverly's skills as a lip syncer gets overshadowed a little bit because Queen Kong was on the exact same season and also had some great fucking lip syncs to I Touch Myself and The Beginning. But this is the lip sync that I chose as my favorite from that season because I do think while both of their performances to The Beginning, the RuPaul song, were more impressive, I don't think they fit the vibe of the song as much as Beverly Kills' one of Starstruck does. This is just, it's a dancey, good song with Kylie Minogue on it, and she keeps the energy so high, and she knows when to do the peaks and the valleys, because like while she still starts energetic, she doesn't really pull out a trick or anything until like the second verse. Like it really takes a second. She matches the energy, but she waits to pull out the stops, and she kind of like settles into it, and it's really, really nice and good. And I feel like Beverly needs to be praised more as a lip syncer, because I mean, this is a great performance. The only reason that this isn't higher, and this is going to be a reasoning for a lot of these lip syncs just not being higher, is that it doesn't hold the same level of like icon status in my brain, you know? While I do love this, and there might be ones like above this that like, you know, depending on the day, I could be like, this one is better. There are some that just, for the time that they came out and for the reasonings of why they're so iconic, they're always going to hold that like icon status in my brain. You know what I mean? Next up at 14th place, we have the Robbed Goddess from Drag Race España Season 3. Who, I mean, when I say that season, you gotta know who at least who it is, but you might not know which lip sync I chose. But it is Clover Bish's lip sync to Dime, that she did against Visa. And I actually almost chose her other lip sync against Kelly Roller, but I decided to go with this one because it kind of fits into the same vibe as Beverly Kills' performance, where they both really match the energy and stay matching the energy from front to back, but they have these moments and they kind of settle into the higher energy and, you know, the tricks throughout the performance in a really like just like good, solid, clean way. They both are very similar in my brain. These are two whose placements could swap literally any day because they do feel like a very similar spot to me. But yeah, Clover Bish is just an icon. And this is the most solid, tight performance in any of the lip syncs on this season, so she had to be here on this list. Alright, in 13th place, we have another lip sync from Drag Race Down Under from season 1. And this lip sync, I just think, is so iconic because it's a kind of an interesting genre for Drag Race that this lip sync goes into. And the person who's lip syncing this has an interesting thing they do with their actual lip sync and the way that they move their mouth that I actually think is really entertaining. And that's why it's up here. And that is going to be Electra Shock's performance to Shake Your Groove Thing. This performance is just, she has this like stank face on the whole time. It's the only word I can actually like properly use, I feel like, to describe it is stank face, but it is. She looks kind of mad, and it's funny to me. They're also in their, I think the runway was like Bogan inspired outfits, and I actually think the materials used, like it really like, she has this kind of like dress on with this kind of like underskirt kind of like tulle happening, and the way that she does like her split towards the end and the way that the tulle just like sits, it's just kind of like, I actually think this is one of those things where like the costume for some reason really gets me together. You know what I mean? It kind of like helps it for me, even though it has nothing to do with the song. Like Shake Your Groove Thing is like a disco-y kind of song. And it doesn't really entirely fit that vibe, but for some reason the outfit really kind of gets me together with this. And the song is just an interesting, yeah, they do disco on Drag Race, but it like feels different. It just feels like a different choice. And the fact that both Electra and Coco do it so well, it makes it stick out as like the best lip sync of the season in my brain. And Electra did win the lip sync, and I do think that she did better in it, so I had to include her, and I decided to do it here at 13th. In 12th, we have, I would say, one of the people who is actively called one of the best lip syncers in Drag Race history, and I do agree with that. If I were just ranking the best lip syncers throughout all of Drag Race, this person would definitely be top 10, I would think. But I do think there are other ones more iconic to me and fit the criteria that like I want and look at better. But I did have to include her lip sync on this list for sure. So from Drag Race Philippines Season 1, we have Marina Summers lip sync to Call Me Mother. This, I mean, the fucking moment. She's wearing this like big kind of tulle blue dress that's very pretty. And then she fucking reveals to this bodysuit on the fucking line body, like, wow. It's so, like, that, again, that's one of those, like, moments. I'm like, that's one of my top 10 moments in any of those lip syncs, period. It is so fucking good. It's just, kissy kissy, I love it. I love it so much. The sole reason it's not harder is I feel like this is one of those songs where you could go really hard at, and you could do more tricks and shit than Marina Summers did, and I would like to see it. And I know that she, like, can do it. So it would have been nice to see, but it doesn't, like, take away points from her that she didn't do it. It's just, in an ideal world, watching a lip sync to Call Me Mother, I would have liked it to have gone a little bit harder. But she still fucking served it so hard. And it's easily the best lip sync to Call Me Mother we've seen on Drag Race, period. So I had to include her in the top here, and I decided to put her at 12. Next up, we have a lip sync from a season that I have not watched, actually. But this lip sync, once I thought of this season, I was like, oh, it's probably going to be that lip sync or one other one. And I watched all the lip syncs from the season. I was like, oh, wait, yeah, this is like actively one of the most fun lip syncs, I think, in Drag Race history. So it had to include it here. And I didn't think I was actually going to put it in the top, what is this now, 11th? I didn't actually think it was going to reach the top 15 when I was initially putting it together, but then it just kept climbing higher and higher because I liked it so much. So from Drag Race Thailand Season 2, we have Angeli Anong's lip sync to Dancer, which is the title translated from Thai. This lip sync is so just cute and fun. So to provide context to those who have not seen Drag Race Thailand Season 2, which, I mean, includes me, but I understand the context, at least. This lip sync is happening after two people have re-entered the competition, One of them, Kana Warrior, who is being lip synced against, has been in the bottom like twice before they got eliminated, is now back in the bottom again, versus Angela, who like has won 5 challenges in a row prior to this episode, like literally 5 in a row before this episode right here. So this is truly the front runner going against the person who has like the worst track record up to this point. And they lip sync to this song, and they just collaborate so fucking well with this. They just like dive into each other's arms. They just start shaking, dancing with each other. They're just like giving props to each other. And it's so cute and fun. It really is like, it's just such a wonderful little like display of like companionship, and it's so cute and just like great. And Angela has this reveal. She starts off in this kind of like, I don't know, my decades aren't working well in my brain as I'm saying this, but it's this kind of like old Hollywood, early 20th century dress. It kind of gives Flapper. It also kind of gives Carmen Miranda to me. And then she reveals into this dress that is like more Flapper, and she does it so well. That's so good. It was so good. I really enjoy it. And they both end up staying after this lip sync, and it's so wonderful. And it was just one of those where I'm like, I have to include this. This is it. This is everything. The reason I guess it's not higher is kind of because of the way that it ends up going down. Because it's like, they aren't singular performances where I'm like, oh, Angela like slayed this. It's more of a collaborative effort. So it kind of like melds, instead of having 2 distinct performances, it kind of melds into one where they're like both contributing. So it isn't as like distinct or as like solid as it like could have been if they weren't interacting the way they were, but also it wouldn't be as fucking iconic if they weren't. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I'm like figuring out where to place it, but I just ended up settling on 11th for it. Next up was the second of the seasons here, where I like had like 4 options on like what is the best lip sync of this season. It really was a struggle for me. This is one of these seasons where I'm like, oh my god, we got some of the best lip syncers of all time. But I decided to put this here in 10th, and this could go higher, absolutely. I deeply considered putting it a couple spots higher, but I ended up just keeping it where I initially put it. And I think we need to see Miss Thing as a lip sync assassin if we have that format again on an all-star season, or just on an all-star season period. It'd be great. So from Drag Race Canada Season 4, we have Near Enough's performance of Black Velvet. This is just a clean, tight performance, and that's really what Nira gives. She gives like a fucking clean performance of any song that you throw at her. And this is the one where, I mean, this is kind of the most like, has the most traction behind it, because this is the final lip sync in the lip sync like Lollapalooza episode they do. Between her and Aurora Matrix, who I was like, okay, do I put this lip sync from Nira? Do I put Aurora's version of this lip sync? I decided that Nira's was better. Because that's what I had done in my Canada Season 4 video. I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep that consistent, say that one's better. But I also considered Aurora's performance to She's All I Want to Be by Tate McRae, Nira's performance to Come Through. Like, there were multiple like songs here that I was like, I have so many potential options for like what my favorite is, but I just settled on this. And the only reason I think this isn't higher is because I wish she went a little bit harder. Like, she does do a bunch of like tricks and stuff in her lip syncs, but this one only had like a couple. And I feel like this is a song where you can go hard, and I wish she just would have gone a little bit harder. And I think the other reason is just because uh, with this being like a country song, I feel like this is one of those where I would appreciate a more like tight lip sync with like the diction of the words, the way that it's being said. I know that uh Alana Miles doesn't really have like a country accent super much in that song, but I do feel like a more tight lip sync is something that I could have seen from her in this. But again, I can't really say shit about Nira's lip syncing skills, because she could mop my ass in essentially any song that exists, So, but that's the reason why it's not higher. Okay, next up we have, honestly, one of the last of like the higher energy, like dancey songs we have on this list. A lot of the other ones, like higher at the top, besides like maybe one of them, are up there because the song itself has a very specific, concentrated point of view, and the lip syncer applies and does that point of view so incredibly well to me. There is one that we're gonna get to in a handful of entries later, but this is kind of the last main one where it's like this person got a dancey, good drag song and they just turned it out. So from Drag Race Brazil season 1, we have Organza's performance to Festa. And this is a lip sync that she has to do against Shannon Scarlett, and they both end up staying after this lip sync, which I completely agree with. But this is just a really solid dance performance, and that's kind of it. Between all the ones that were in the top 15 here, I was like looking at the ones like in the different categories. I'm like, okay, this is like a ballad. This is just a genre that the person encapsulates perfectly in their performance. This is a more dancey song. And looking at all the dancey songs, I don't know why I'm saying that like it's a technical term, but you know what I mean. This one just kept like rising up in the ranks for me. I was like, I think she did better than these other people at it. So I just kept climbing up and I ended up settling here at ninth. It's just a really solid performance. She has a good reveal in it, because she's wearing this like full black bodysuit that like goes over her head and stuff with this like a silver, uh, this like headpiece and stuff on top of that she ends up taking off and revealing throughout the course of the lip sync, and it's just so wonderful to watch. It is just so sickening and stunning. And it kind of like, again, out of all the dancier songs, fits my criteria of I'm like, okay, she had the energy, she kept my attention up from start to finish more than any of the other songs in that territory. Uh, I just didn't put her higher again because kind of what I just mentioned. I feel like all the other ones higher are songs that have a more concentrated point of view, and the lip syncers were able to attach themselves and get that point of view better than Organza was in this lip sync because they're easier songs to do so. And again, I think they also have like a higher like quality ceiling of like because they have a more concentrated point of view. I feel like your best performance at one of those songs is going to be better than the best performance to this song. So I do love this. But that's the reason why it's not higher. Next up, we have ourselves another ballad, and we actually have a good few emotional ballad type songs here at the very top. This one is beautiful, and this is actually another season where I was really struggling to figure out what lip sync I was going to put. The season being Drag Race Philippines Season 2, there were many lip syncs. A couple lip syncs from Bernie, one from Arizona Brandy, but I decided to end up going with Miss Jade So's lip sync to Gusto Ko Nang Bumitaw, and this lip sync this is a heart-wrenching song. Oh my god, it is truly so emotional. And she's lip syncing against Matilda here. And the way that, okay, so Miss Jade is wearing this, she has her face painted red. It's this kind of like devil-inspired outfit. And she keeps having these moments where she reveals these like blood tricks where she starts off by rubbing blood on her face. And then she continues, and there's more blood later on, and she just is in it from start to finish. Like, it's almost like she enters like a different like world to do this lip sync. It is so eye-catching and captivating. And I really just, when watching the lip syncs back, this was one of the final ones I watched for some reason, and I just kind of like forgot about it for whatever reason. And then I watched it, I was like, oh my god, wait, this lip sync is iconic. Why did I forget about this? And then I just like, I finished it and I was like, okay, I'm doing Jade's performance from this. Like, I didn't even watch like the last two because I knew they weren't going to be fucking reaching the heights of this one. I was like, I know those ones aren't going to be as good as this one, so we're just going to fucking stick with this one. And I ended up putting it here 8th. It kind of was also one of the ones that just kind of like, I didn't expect it to be 8th when I started, but I just like kept thinking about it and it just kept climbing. It's just so beautiful and so amazing. I guess the only reason it's not higher is because For the other kind of ballady type songs we have going on, one of them I do feel like the performer hits like the words and the face a little bit better than Miss Jade does. And for the other one, I think the reveal is slightly more impressive. But is one of those where it's like, I have a bunch of ballads up here. Uh, I also kind of didn't want to crowd the top with ballads. I don't think this one could be much higher for me. I think the max spot I would put is like 6. I think my top 5 are pretty locked. But regardless, this is a stellar fucking lip sync from Miss Jade So here. In 7th place, we have a lip sync where it has one of the reveals that gagged me the most of any reveal I've ever seen on Drag Race. It is so, like, I just didn't expect it in the slightest. And the fact that it did happen, I remember watching it and then, like, also, again, just watching it again for this video, like, having to pause and being like, oh my god, it is so, like, it's so out of the blue and so fun and nice. And she also matches the vibe and energy of this performance so well. And I mean, I try to not have a bias as much as I can, even though I'm literally talking about my favorites, so there's obviously is a bias. But this is a more rock-oriented song. So because I like performances of that better, usually I'm naturally going to like this better than some other ones. But in 7th place, we have from Drag Race Mexico Season 1, Galavaro's lip sync to Obranse Perez. This lip sync is just, oh my god, it is so fucking good. She has a bald cap on, and like halfway through the lip sync, she fucking tears off the bald cap, and there's a wig reveal under the bald cap. And it's a fucking like she's like that bald cap is locked the fuck in there. She's gotta rip that shit off, and you can see the fucking like glue fucking coming off with it. And then she's just got this big yellow wig under it, and you're just like, what? How did you do that? And I mean, also she does these different tricks and stuff throughout it. Abronce Perros is one of those songs that's like it is a high energy song. And she keeps the energy up from start to finish. And it is truly one of those songs where I'm just like, it's one of those lip syncs where I'm just like in awe of it. I do think, there is some slight technical issues with the reveal where I think that could have been cleaner. And that's kind of why I guess it's not a bit higher. Also because of the fact that I think the lip sync could have been just a little slightly, like, a bit tighter overall, and we have another rock song and a few entries that we're going to get to that I do think is so locked in from start to finish that I had to put that higher. So it just ended up here at 7th. But watch this lip sync, watch this reveal, please, it's so good. So we are here in the top 6 now, and we still have 2 lip syncs from Drag Race Canada to talk about. And here we're going to have our next one from Drag Race Canada Season 1. And I mean, this is one of the most iconic lip syncs. I love this lip sync so much. It is so good. And I think Drag Race Canada Season 1 is one of these seasons where it has some of the best lip syncs, like, of all time, period. I mean, both Lemon and Rita's performance to You Oughta Know, stellar. Alona Verley's performance to Scars to Your Beautiful, beautiful. There are so many. The finale lip sync from all of them, amazing. Priyanka's performance to Hello by Ali X, amazing. But I ended up deciding to go with Priyanka's lip sync to I Drove All Night by Celine Dion. This lip sync is just stellar. I remember watching this when it came out and just being like in awe of it. Because I mean, when this happened, it was like one of the longest lip syncs of all time, period. Maybe the longest lip sync cut on on an episode of Drag Race ever. At the point that this came out, it is a jam-packed lip sync with Priyanka versus Kiara, and they're both giving it their all from start to finish. And Priyanka has a really smart way of going about this, where she has these tricks and stuff that she employs, but also takes time to just stand there and just speak the words to the judges and give the emotion. And it's so amazing. It is just one of those lip syncs where I kind of forgot how much I loved it until I watched it again, and I was like, oh my god, this lip sync is kind of everything. The reason it's not higher is simply because I think every other lip sync above it fits their vibe in a tighter way than Priyanka does here. But this lip sync is truly like I think at a point in time, especially when Canada season 1 came out, I would have put on like the Mount Rushmore of lip syncs, because this might be is this the oldest lip sync up to the like on this top part of the list. I think every other lip sync after this on the list came after this lip sync. Actually, okay, yes, I was correct. Every lip sync that is higher than this lip sync on this list came after this lip sync. So, I mean, that's also kind of like how many international seasons were there before Canada season 1? Like, I think like 4. We got like, I think Holland season 1, UK season 1, both of the Thailands. I think that's it, actually, as far as I can remember. This is like the 5th from the beginning lip sync on this whole list, period. But with that fact, I feel like if you asked me to like rank all the lip syncs after this, season had aired, and we're doing it in this like middle of 2020, I'm doing this video, this lip sync is like third or something. And that's with like all the lip syncs from like US and All Stars as well. Like, this lip sync is so iconic. And I feel like it doesn't get appreciated enough in the years after it has happened. In 5th place, we have somebody who, I mean, I'm not going to say that somebody's my favorite performer in Drag Race history, because I feel like that's a large and overwhelming description to give. But this person is, I would say, top 5. And I mean, I think most people would agree with me. From Drag Race France Season 2, we have Kiona's performance to Titanium from the finale. Kiona is just a world-class performer. And I mean, she has a good reveal in this lip sync, revealing to this, like a bikini bra and panty set. And I mean, she's from ballroom. She knows how to move. And she showed that throughout her season. And we just kind of like, that's just a known fact about Kiona. She's one of those lip syncers where, like, I would trust her to do well at any performance, to basically anything, and I wouldn't get bored of it. This lip sync is just, it's kind of everything to find, because Kiona doesn't lip sync in the bottom 2 throughout the season, So like, we see her perform, but we really don't get to see a chance to see her lip sync. And I do feel like this is kind of like helped by the fact that this is like the first like true like just like lip sync for your life, or I guess lip sync for the win, that we get to see Kiona do at all throughout the season, and that just makes it so much more like satisfying to like see her. Like, we know that she can show up and show out the whole time, but then she finally gets to do so, and it's just chef's kiss. I think the reason it's not in the top 4 is because the other 4 lip syncs above it have much more like pointed like points of view, the songs themselves, than Titanium as a song does. So it's one of those where I'm like, I don't think she fit the vibe as well as the other people in the top 4 fit the vibe for their songs, but also I don't think it's possible to hit the vibe of Titanium better than the way that the top 4 hit the vibes for their songs, Again, it's like that quality kind of like ceiling I mentioned, where I'm like, the best possible lip sync to Titanium, I do feel like, is just going to be a touch worse than the other lip syncs I'm going to talk about. In 4th place, we have what is definitely my dark horse pick of this video. In my last video, when I was talking about the US season's lip syncs, it was putting Willow Pill's performance to Never Too Much at 2nd place, which I still support. I love that lip sync. But there were definitely people who were like, what? When I did that. Who were like, okay, pop off, sis. And that's going to be this lip sync for this video. But this is one of the lip syncs when I was making this video where I was like, I knew I was going to put this lip sync in from the moment I thought of the concept. It's one of those that just sits so rent-free in my brain. And I don't think it gets talked about enough. So from Drag Race Canada Season 2, we have Cynthia Kiss's performance to I Love Myself Today by Biff Naked. This lip sync, okay, so it's rock. Let's start there. I like that. It makes me feel good. I also just love this song, period. And second of all, Cynthia's hitting the vibe from start to fucking finish. Truly has the anger in her face at the right parts. Is hitting the moves so fucking perfectly. It fits exactly what I am envisioning when I say I want to see somebody hit the vibe and I want to believe the words coming out of their mouth. I fully believe what Cynthia is saying in this lip sync. And it is just one of the tightest, cleanest lip syncs, in my opinion, from Drag Race. And I feel like people would have expected me to put like an Isis Couture lip sync here, because if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I adore Isis Couture. But this lip sync has always been like the number one for me from Canada season 2. It is just everything. And I was like, am I really gonna put this at 4th? And then I was like, yeah, I'm gonna live my truth. I'm gonna put this at 4th. So that is where it is at this point in the rankings. I feel like they all are basically as like good as they can be in comparison to like the songs and like what they end up doing with them. I just kind of like everything above it more than this. But I do adore this lip sync so much. And please go watch it if it's been a while since you've seen it, or if you haven't seen it, because it is truly everything. In 3rd place, we have a lip sync that I think everybody expected to be on here at some point. It is one of like, in terms of like current Drag Race, like as of like right now, it is like probably the Mount Rushmore of like people's favorite lip syncs. Like it is one of the like beloved when it comes to lip syncing on Drag Race. And I was close to putting it higher, but I feel like the other two above it just really do it a bit more for me personally. But this lip sync is absolutely like one of the best lip syncs period on Drag Race. And from Drag Race UK Season 2, we have Tace's lip sync to Memory. This is one of those lip syncs where she truly is hitting it and giving face and serving emotion the whole goddamn time. And it is just it is just stellar. It is just a feat to watch and just like see before your eyes of like, oh my god, she really hit the vibe of it so perfectly great and good. And it's just everybody loves this lip sync, you know. I don't really, there's nothing I'm gonna say about this lip sync that people haven't already said before me. It is amazing. Um, the reason I guess I have it at 3rd is because there's another lip sync, another ballad in the top 2 that we'll be talking about that I do feel like has a higher climax than this lip sync does, in my opinion. And then the other song, I do feel like the vibe is hit just a bit more. It really was what I had to put it 3rd. It was kind of where I was like, I think I'm gonna put that from the very jump. And that's where it ended up being for me. In 2nd place, we have a lip sync that is, I would say, pretty beloved, actually. Not as beloved as like Memory is, but is a ballad and does fit in the same vibe, but I do think has maybe my favorite reveal in a lip sync of all time. I'm gonna say that. I don't know. I'm not gonna say definitively it's my favorite, but top 5 easily. Top 3 also as well. Definitely top 3. And so from Drag Race España season 1, we have Carmen Farala's lip sync to La Gata Bajo la Lluvia. And this is just everything. It's our last kind of ballad emotional song we have on the list here. And she is serving face the whole time. She has this like emotionally kind of like pain and like beautiful kind of face going on the whole time. That's just so wonderful. And this song is about like crying in the rain. Lluvia means rain. And she reveals at a point into this wet wig, crying in the rain, and it's just perfect. Like I don't know how you could like do this better, you know? Like I don't have anything to say of like I could never think of a better way to do this song than the way that Carmen did it here. It is just amazing. And the only reason I guess it's not higher is because the other song here is one of the ones where I am rewatching that video of that lip sync on repeat so often. It is one of the top number one lives in my mind rent free, and this also lives in my mind rent free. But I do think the other one is just personally more iconic to me, and I love more. So it is here in second, which kind of pains me because I did want to put this in first when I was considering it, but I decided to just leave it in second here. If you watched my video uh, of Drag Race UK Season 3, then first place is going to be anticlimactic to you, and I'm so sorry about that. Part of me honestly wanted to put it not in first so it would be more climactic, but I was like, no, that's stupid, so I'm not gonna do that. But I mean, this is one of those lip syncs where everybody adores it, everybody loves it. It is one of the beloved, and when thinking about it, I was like, okay, it's gonna be first. It's just gonna be first, and that's the way that the cookie crumbles. So in first place, we have Vanity Milan's lip sync to Scandalous from Drag Race UK Season 3. It is so tight from top to bottom. I mean, she does these beautiful spins in these heels that look so fucking difficult throughout. She has these splits and kicks and tricks, and she gets to lip sync it in front of Alicia Dixon, who is part of Mystique, who's the artist behind the song, and Alicia is living for it. And it is truly like the best example of like watching one of the queens and one of the guest judges on the show connect through something so like viscerally as that lip sync, because Alicia is just into it so hard and so excited at every single fucking step of it, and she's playing off of it, and it's just so joyous to me. It's so wonderful to watch. It's one of those where I'm like, is one of those lip syncs where like I could watch that on repeat. If I got 2 minutes left to live, I'm watching Vanity Milan lip sync to Scandalous. It is perfect. I just like don't have anything bad to say about it. I love it. And I'm not gonna be shamed for that. No, I'm kidding. So what did you think about this video? What are your favorite international lip syncs from RuPaul's Drag Race? Let me know. I will eventually in the future be doing a video of the All-Star seasons. I did want to include the like UK versus the world and España All-Stars in here, but considering the amount of seasons I was already going over in this video, I thought it just made more sense to categorize them as US seasons, international seasons, and all-star seasons all combined. So I will be doing that video sometime in the future. I will most likely, well, I will absolutely be doing it after All Stars 9 because, that's going to end in like a couple of months at the latest. So like, why would I do it before that season ends? And depending on when Global All Stars comes out, I might do it after that as well, but we'll see. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you wish. Leave your thoughts, feelings, and opinions down below. As always, I will leave my Twitter link down below if you want to go follow me on there. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, take care. Bye-bye.